Name right here. This is your classwork homework today. So let's do this all together so you don't have homework. Alright, at the left hand corner there, write your name, first name, last name in MLA style. So first name, last name, Mrs. Wilcox, Math 8, period, whatever period you're in, and today's date, which is the 7th of September. (2016). Okay, we're doing one step adding and subtracting decimals and integers. Integers are a whole number that are positive and negative. Okay, let's do number 1 first. Mrs. Rasmussen keep records of the best obstacle course time. Okay, who has the best obstacle course time? Explain your reasoning. So we're finding who has the best obstacle course time. Okay, Gabriel is good, 11.88. Okay, I'm going to let you use calculator here. So if you have, or you can watch here and we can go ahead and use your calculator. If you have a calculator, if you don't, I'm going to Google here's a calculator, my calculator. 5 divided by 6 for this one here. 5 divided by 6. Clear. 5 divided by 6. 8. It's just we do it for the sake of time, okay? You need to know how to divide this though, because 5 goes inside, 6 goes out. Some of you have a hard time. Okay, let's do the division. We know that it's 0.83 repeating on the 3. So another 3. When we're comparing, it's best to use the dot, 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 like that. Let's divide so you can see it. It goes in 0 time with a dot. 0, 6 into 5 is 8 times, 48. 2, put another 0, bring it down. Divide by the 6 still. Into 20 is 3, 18. A remainder of 2 still. Put another 0, it's another 3. So 3 is repeating. Okay, so really don't need that many. We just need to. Okay, let's compare this. In place of 0, we put the 11, of course. Okay, and this is 11.8, and we want 3 numbers after the decimal. So in place, there's no number on the 8, we put in zeros. So that's 800, that's 833. This is 11.83 with a 0. It's 830. Who has the best obstacle time? Time, remember, the lower the time, the faster. You want lower the time, lower the faster. Okay, the higher the time, the slower you are. Let's say the mile. A 10-minute mile is slower than a 7-minute mile. So the lower the time, the faster. This is an obstacle course. So the fastest person is the lowest. So the fastest person, put here the fastest person has the lowest time. The fastest person has the best time. The lowest time. Which in this case is Gabriel. Which is Gabriel. Because 0.800 is faster, 0.800 is faster than 0.833 and 833 and 0.830, 830. 800 is faster than 833 and 830. Okay, that's how we explain. Would you add or subtract? Explain. You would add because there are two negatives. You would add because there are two negatives. Would you add or subtract? You would subtract because there's only one negative. The other one is a positive. You would subtract because one is a negative and the other is positive. First number always goes inside the house. The second number always goes out. 5 into 4 is 0. 5 into 45 is 9. 45, subtract 0. Bring down the 3. When you bring down, you have to divide. Divide by what number? The 5. Even though it's smaller, 5 cannot go into the 3 you bring down. You have to put a 0 on top. Okay? And 0 times the 5 is 0. You subtract, still remainder 3. Put down another 0. Bring it down. When you add additional 0, you need to put a decimal. When you add additional 0, that's not there. We added the 0. It was not there. You have to add a decimal. Now, then you bring that 0 down. Now the 5 into 30 goes in 6. Okay, and that's your answer. Kind of want you, did it say here what to do? Okay. I would like you to put it as a remainder. That's okay. We'll work with decimals right now. But eventually I need you to know why remainders are important. Number 5, 120, divide by 3. 23 cannot go into 1. You put a 0. 3 into 12, 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract 0. Bring down this last 0. You have to divide by this 3. 3 into 0 is 0 times. There's nothing left. So 40 is your answer. Here's 90.6. Okay. These questions will be on your basic skills quiz. I think I will have you divide it with a remainder though. Okay, solve each equation, name the property of equality. Alright, let's solve this. We want x by itself. We want x equals to something. So what's there that we need to get rid of is this one. We have to get rid of that one. In order to get rid of that one, we have to make 0. You have negative 15. How do we make 0? We have to add to 15 to that. Okay, we got the negative 15. In order to make it 0, we have to add a 15. We have to do add 15. Those two like that, all those all mean the same. Written all mean the same. Okay, that will get you 0. This is 0 plus this x that's there is the x we want. 0 plus x or 0. Don't write this down. 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 8 is 8. Now 0 plus this x here is x. Because you add 15 here, you have to add 15 to the negative 41.17. You add 15 here, you have to add 15 here to both sides. In this case, you have to subtract because you have one negative. Okay, one negative you subtract. So 41.17, and your answer is going to be a negative because the bigger number is negative, minus 15.00. Put the zeros. 173162. 26.17 is your answer. Okay, that's how you do your this work. And this is called, when you add 15 to both sides, this is addition property of equality. Name the property of equality. You're adding 15. This is called addition property of equality. Okay, number 2. We want to find this m. We need to get rid of this number. We want it gone. In order to be it gone, you have to make it 0. So 7.54. How do we make that 0? By minusing 7.54. That will get you 0. Now, plus m that's there, you need to write plus the m that's there right here. Okay, this gives you 0. Plus the m will give you an m on this side. Now on this other side, you still have negative 120. But because you minus 7.54, you have to minus 7.54 on this side also. Okay, you minus this, you need to minus it on this side. Because you have two negatives here, two minuses. You add them. So you add 120 plus 7.54. Put a 0 on top. 5, 4, 7, 2, 1. Line up the decimal. This is a bad. Okay. 120 plus 7.54. Line up the decimals. Add the zeros in. 5, 4. Line up the decimals. 7, 2, 1. So m is equal to whatever answers on this side, which is 127.54. Okay? Dividing rules for integers. If you have a negative times, this is times, a positive, your answer is a negative. So when they're different, it's negative. All all the time. This is not adding rule. Adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting, the bigger number takes the sign. For multiplying and dividing, negative positive equals to a negative. Different signs equals to a negative. Now, if you have the same sign, to have negative times a negative or a negative divided by a negative, they both equal to a positive. For multiplying and dividing, this is multiply here. This is divide here. Okay. All right. Now, so this one here is times. Times. So the opposite of times is divide. Or you can make it look at as negative 4 over 1. How do we make negative 4 over 1 equals to 1? By multiplying by its reciprocal. 1 over 4, which is dividing. This is divide. Okay, so best way to look at this is divide. Opposite of multiply by 4. This is multiply, divide by a negative 4. They stay the same. You do it to this side. Oh, by the way, we need to name the property of equality because we subtract. This is called subtraction property of equality. Subtraction property of equality. Okay, because we're dividing here, this is multiplication, and we're dividing by 4. This is division property of equality. Okay, so this eliminate. That makes it equal to 1. 1 times p is p equals. Let's divide that. I should have left the other one as a remainder because this, I want your answer as a remainder here as a fraction. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. So negative 435 divided by 4 is going to be a negative answer here because that's negative 4 into 4 is negative 1. Okay, make that equal to 0. Anyways, I pretend it's not there and I put a negative here. 4, bring down the 3, you need to divide 4 into 3, it's 0 times. 0 here, 3, bring down to 5. Divide by the 4, it's 8 times. 32. Remainder of 3. Can stop. Remainders are much easier than decimal. You brought down every number, do not put a decimal. Instead of a decimal, you put a R3. So your answer is negative 108. Now, here's how you write remainder. Remainder 3. That's how you write remainder 3. Now, your denominator happens to be this 4 here. So your numerator, your remainder, is always your numerator. Okay? And that is your answer. Let's look at this one here. Okay? You want to get rid of negative 7. How do we get rid of negative 7? We multiply by a negative 7. multiplied by a -7. This is divide. This is divide. Let me change this. This is division, so we multiply. This is called multiplication property of equality. G equals, multiply 34 times 7, 28, carry 2, 23, -23/8. That's your answer. A positive and a negative is a negative. Okay, let's go to the back. I'll leave this up for a minute for those of you who need to finish copying whatever you need to finish copying. All right. Well, you know what? You're on your Chromebook, so you can pause. I forget. You do have your Chromebook. Okay. Name the property of equality. I would like you to, this row right here, number 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 10, no calculators on those. Okay. The rest, you can use calculator. No calculators on these. I'm going to review for basic skills quiz. This here, let's do that first. I'll do one to show you. You put it your remainder, no decimals here, no decimals. So 4, 5, 3, divide by 5. Goes into 4 0 times. Goes into 45 9 times. 45 minus 0. Bring down that 3. And you need to divide by this 5. 5 into 3 that you brought down is not possible. You put 0. Remainder 3. There's no more number to bring down. You put remainder 3. So your answer is 90. This is your answer here. 90, remainder 3. This is how you, remainder. Instead of this R, we put this for remainder, the 3. This 3 here. And over the denominator of the outside number 5. It's 90 remainder 3. 90 remainder 3. Denominator's this number. Okay, I'll do this one too. So if you look, 2003 divided by 2 goes in 1 time. 2, 0. Bring this down. When you bring down a number, you have to divide. Okay, so you're dividing by 2. 2 doesn't go into 0, so it goes in 0 time. 0, subtract, bring down this 3. 2 goes into 3 1 time. 2, subtract, 1, stop, remainder 1. So your answer is 101, remainder, okay, let me write it in black so you can see the difference. So your answer, this is your answer, 101, remainder, this is remainder 1, remainder 1. Okay, what goes on bottom? This number here too. Okay, I'll go to the other ones. The problem, that's the division. There's 2 more, but I'm going to go over solving equations so you know how to do this. Okay, number 1, we want K by itself. We want the letter K. So this needs to be gone. In order for that to be gone, you have to minus 431. If you minus 431 with to this number, that's a positive 431 plus the K. If you minus 431, you need to minus this negative 109.07. You need to minus it also to 431. This is called subtraction property of equality. Okay, you don't need to name them. You don't need to name them. Let's just do them. This makes it equal to 0. 0. 0 plus this k is the k. These two here, they're both negative. You add them together. Okay. No calculators. You know what? I'll let you use the other one with calculator, but this row, these three problems you can't. Okay, no calculator. So on these three problems, negative 907 minus 431. Add them together because they're both negatives. 8, 3, 13, carry 1. Negative 2, 3, 3, 8. And that's my answer. Okay, now number 5. You're not going to make 0 here. You only make 0 if it's a plus or a minus. All these problems, 1, 2, 3, 4, you make 0 because it's a plus problem. Plus or a minus problem, you make zeros. Multiply or divide, you do the opposite operation. This is divide. So you have to multiply by 34. This is multiplication property of equality by 34. Cancel. N equals 34 times 9. 36, carry the 3. 27, 28, 29. 30. Sorry, 27 plus 3 is 30. So 306. Okay, number 9. This is multiply. So you divide by 4, divide by 4. Multiply, you divide. Okay? Then you have H equals 125 divided by 4. 3, 12, subtract 0, bring down the 5. It's a 4, 4 into 5, 1 time. Remainder 1. So your answer is 31, remainder 1. 31, remainder 1. With this denominator 4, which is the one outside. That's your answer. Okay, so let's look at this one here. This is a plus. A plus, you need to make the number equal to 0. Plus or minus, you have to make that number that's there equal to 0. Next to that on the side of the letter F. How do we do that? That's a negative. So you do a plus 1.16 minus 1.16. That will get you 0 plus this F. Well, what you do to this side, you must do also to this side. You got a negative 16.7. You have to add 1.16. Okay? This gives you 0 plus F is F equals. You need to subtract them. Okay. It's a negative. On your calculator, press this negative button. 16.7. That's a negative number. make sure you put negative 16.7 plus 1.16. Okay, you end up subtracting, you see? So you get 15 negative 0.54. And that's your answer. You have to show your steps. Even though you use a calculator, I need to see this addition property of equality here. Okay, number 3. Because it's adding, you need to make one of them equal to 0. Not this one, but the one you want FM on the letter side. You need to make that number equal to 0 on the letter side. So how do we make a negative 161 equal to 0? We add 161. That will get you 0. If you want to use a calculator to prove it, watch. 161 positive minus 161. Oh, it's a 0, guys. I typed in wrong. Okay, this is 0 plus the m that's already here gives you m. Because you add 161 here, you need to add 161 here. So negative 481 add 161. Okay, 481 negative add 161. 320. No, 359 negative. No, 1. Why did I say 3? No, it doesn't look right. That's, oops, sorry. That's not right. 481 negative. Add that to 161. Negative 320. You need to know when your answer is wrong. Can't trust a calculator each time. And that's your answer. This is add that. Because you look for the add or subtract. You need to make that equal to 0 because this is add 64.9. You have to subtract 64.9 to make it equal to 0. Okay? You still have that gets you a 0. Yeah, because you minus that on this side, you need a minus 64.9 on this side. But this here is a negative 36 equals to, equals to this y plus that. Okay? So y plus 0 is y, and these are two negatives. You add them together. 49.9 negative minus 36. 100.9. I don't know why the 0 at the end. Negative 100.9 is your answer. Okay, so if you see an add, you have to subtract to get 0. Now, here you see a divide, you multiply. Here you see multiply, you've got to divide. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Okay, well, if you use a calculator for this, it won't give you a remainder. Look, I don't want a decimal, I want a remainder, so that's wrong. So no calculator for division. You have to do it by hand. I want the remainder. Divided by 3. Goes in once. Okay, 1. Bring down the 4. Divide by that 3. Goes into 4. 12. Remainder 2. Yep, remainder 2. This is your answer. P, this is P, equals to, when you divide this, you get 14 remainder 2 with this denominator of 3, or that number there. Number 7 equal to, this is divide, you have to multiply by 12, times this by 12 to both sides. It's called multiplication property of equality, times by 12. Cross cancel this out. P equals, if you have a hard time multiplying that to get 72, use a calculator. 12 times 6 equals 72. This last one here, no, there's more to do, but on this row, divide by, this is multiply, so the opposite. You always look on the variable side, okay? If you don't know which number to choose, it's the side of the variable. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Alrighty. 56 divide by 5. Oh, we don't want decimals. Decimals no good to us. I want it as a remainder. I want you guys to know this is a remainder. 56 divide by 5. Remainder 1, because the reason why you put a remainder, because both numbers have come down already. So your answer is 11. Remainder 1 is M. Now you need a denominator, so you need to put this denominator or this number that's outside at the bottom. Okay? Here, number 10. This is a plus problem. Any plus or minus, you need to make 0. Okay, think of 0. You got a negative 2.4 you have to add 2.4. So you have to add 2.4 to both sides. Okay? Minus, that will get you 0, as you can see, plus r equal to negative 0.5. Addition property of equality here. Okay, these two here will get you 0. 0 plus the r is equal to r. Okay, so here I'm going to let you use calculators. 11.5, we subtract, because one is positive, one is negative. You'll have this on your next test. 9.1. The bigger number is negative, so your answer is negative. Number 11. Number 11, this is division. Always look on the variable side. Variable side. Find the variable, and then this is divide, so you have to multiply to get rid of that 15. Multiply by 15, you multiply 15 on this side. Okay, equals, use your calculator, -4. 4 negative times that by 15 equals -60. Okay, show all steps. Here on the variable side here, these walls separates the two sides. It's multiplied, so you have to divide by 5. M equals 34 divided by 5. 6 times 30, remainder 4. So you answer 6, remainder 4. Remainder 4. Now we need a denominator. We can't just have a numerator as a remainder, so this denominator 5 comes down here. Okay? And that's, well, let's finish number 3 and 4 down here. Number 3, you guys had a hard time with this on your basic skills test. Okay, I'm going to exit out of my calculator. Do not use calculator here. Okay. These are two negatives. Remember, negative and a minus means the same. If you have to do additive inverse, okay, plus a negative, you have to do additive inverse. Notice it's two negatives. So a minus is the same thing as a negative. So you add them. 125 and 45. Okay, 10 carry the 1. 671, negative 170 is your answer. Negative because the bigger number is a negative. Okay, the next problem here, if you do additive inverse, okay, if you do additive inverse, notice this is a negative and this is a positive. There's only one negative, so you would subtract. If you can see that this is a positive and the minus same thing as a negative, you subtract. Go ahead and do that. So you subtract negative 109 and a positive 54. 5, 5, and the bigger number is a negative, so your answer is a negative 55. Okay, those are your 4 problems. Make sure you know how to divide. It's going to be on your next basic skills quiz on Thursday or Friday of this week. I believe Thursday. So go back on your own if you didn't finish any and look at the video again on your own, on your Chromebook.